Alright, so this video lecture is going to be very short because we have only 4 questions left. Question 9, 10, 11, 12. So what I will be doing is I'm going to start from question 9 and all the way to 12. So the video lecture is going to be quite short. And we have completed question 9 already. So now I just need to clarify what is the right answer and why that's the right answer. So if you take a look at question 9, and basically you have to find let me use my Excel file so that I can show you some calculations to remind you. For the question 9, so what's happening here is, first of all, you need to have a called a master budget, right? And you have a flexible budget. So for the master budget and flexible budget, you have to find the direct material costs. So for the master budget, it's very simple. It's going to be $35 times 1,500, and we did that already. For the flexible budget, it's going to be 1,500 times it's going to be 1,300 multiplied by 35 as well. Okay, so now the difference is basically we're looking at I'll use absolute value. Okay, so it's a 7,000. We have that value already. Okay, so I apologize that I did not catch up with the right answer. So basically the right answer should be D, the 7,000 favorable. And in my email I have explained that what was the situation and what I did with your exam 3 grade. So hopefully you're fine with that, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions. But for students who got this question right in the beginning, there will be no change. But for other students, I will count that correct. So try to make up for that. And also I will share the error information with this error report with the publisher to make sure they will correct that, update the system. Okay. So but anyway, for this 7,000 is going to be actually the favorable, because from materials perspective, from the cost of materials perspective, so the question is, although we have a decrease in sales, okay, apparently, but we do have the cost saving due to the sales volume change. So, and that is about 7,000. So we save 7,000 for materials due to the sales volume. So that's the sales volume variance for materials. Okay, sorry about it. So now let's come to the question 10. The question 10. Well, first of all, I would assume that you have read the question, so I will come to the calculation directly. So we're looking at direct manufacturing labor efficiency variance. So for the efficiency variance, we are going to use budgeted rate, but we're going to look at the quantity allowed, the quantity of inputs allowed for output. So that will tell you the labor efficiency. So in order to find this labor efficiency, I will have to derive two things here. Okay, two things here. So I will have the actual output. Okay, I will have quantity allowed of inputs. Sorry, quantity of inputs allowed per output. Okay. Okay, and this should be because we're looking at efficiency, so we have a budgeted actually quantity of inputs allowed for output, okay, as well as the actual quantity of inputs allowed for output. So first of all, let me go through some of these numbers. So I will explain to you what I mean by that. Hopefully you still remember what we did. Okay. Budgeted rate of per input. Okay, and these three things, basically that's the flexible budget. Okay, flexible budget, that's pretty clear. And the next thing, we don't really have a name. Next thing is actually the actual input, okay, times the budgeted rate. Okay, we don't have a name for that, but that's all we call that. So what's happening here is you have the actual input, which you can also use actual output multiplied by the actual quantity of inputs allowed per output. Okay, sometimes you are given the total actual inputs already. Sometimes you are given two separate numbers. You have to multiply them to find the actual inputs. Okay, which I'm not going to talk about here. But here we have a budgeted rate per input. Okay, so what you want to do is you can go ahead. Okay, you can go ahead. Find all numbers for all these things. Then you can calculate the difference between them. The difference will tell you the efficiency variance. So now let's get back to our question to find all these numbers. The actual output. Okay, the actual output. I'm looking at 20,000 containers. So I'm going to put 20,000 containers here. For the budgeted quantity of inputs allowed for output, I'm looking at basically direct manufacturing labor hours per every container. So I'm looking at 0.05. Okay, and the budgeted rate per input, I'm looking at $30. Okay, then you're done. So for the next, the actual total inputs multiplied by the budgeted rate is, first of all, budgeted rate is 30. And let me take a look at what I have. It's pretty clear that this A2 produced and sold whatever 20,000 containers using the 1,900 pounds of whatever and 1,000 direct manufacturing labor hours. So that's pretty clear that we don't really have two separate numbers for us to calculate actual input in total. We actually have the number directly. So I'm going to jump to the conclusion. Actually, it's 1,000. Okay. So now I can really get back to the calculation. This 1,000. Okay. This sorry. So this 1,000 here is the result of actual output multiplied by the actual quantity of inputs allowed for output. So which I'm not gonna bother. So I will come to the calculation here. So for this one, I will have 20,000 times this 0.05. Sorry, I don't know why I put should it be multiplied by 0.05, then multiplied by 30. Okay, so I get 30,000. For this number, which is actual input multiplied by budgeted rate, is going to be 1,000 multiplied by 30. So now you can see that I get the same numbers. So in terms of variance, you can see that it's going to be the difference between these two numbers. Okay. So surprisingly, we get a 0. So which means there is no efficiency variance. There's no efficiency variance for this question. So the answer is D. So the answer is D. Now let's come to the question 11. The question 11. Okay. So once again, I would assume that you have read the question before you watch my video. So otherwise you may want to review the question and work on the question. Then watch my video. So that will be better. So we're looking for the actual amount spent for materials B. Okay. So therefore we have a flexible budget and we have two variances: price and efficiency. So now if you take a look at these numbers, it's quite interesting that we can start with flexible budget. Okay. So we have actual here, and we have we call the price variance normally down in the middle, and we have efficiency variance. Remember, now we have flexible budget. Okay, so we have all these elements sitting here. So now we just need to figure out which direction we're going. Should we add or should we subtract? Okay, so let me move this here a little bit. Okay, very good. All right, so let's start with flexible budget, and I think we're looking at 60,000. Then we have a efficiency variance, which is actually favorable, 1,500. Okay, and we have 500 unfavorable price variance. Okay, so that's about the question here. So let's go ahead and do the calculations. So for the actual, okay, so first of all, because we have a 1,500 favorable efficiency variance, and this is about the material cost, so we are going to use a flexible budget to minus 1500. Okay, because it's efficiency variance, so we're supposed to have less, okay, less cost. Then we have a price variance, which is unfavorable, which means we'll have to spend more. So we're gonna, add additional 500. Then the result is 59,000. Okay, 59,000. And you look at the choices. So the right answer should be D. So that's 59,000. 59,000. Right? Okay, so that's about this question. So now the last question is 12. Okay, so what is the variable overhead efficiency variance? So this question is actually, to me, it's quite similar. It's quite similar to the question 10. So it should not take us very much time. So this company manufactured this many air conditioners, and that's overhead cost allocation base per machine hour. Okay, and the following variance, and we have this base rate and production and the machine hours and so on. So now we have to calculate the overhead efficiency variance, okay, which is pretty clear. So we are going to use a similar thing here. I'm going to basically copy the question, tens, some of the formulas here. So it's going to be the same because it's about the price, efficiency variance. So I will copy down the formulas down here. Okay, let me go through that. Okay, so that's what I have here. Right. So in this question, let's try to say, okay, so we have actual output. For the actual output, we're looking at 16,000 air conditioners. Okay, so we will have manufactured 16,000 air conditioners. That's actual production. Then we have a budgeted quantity of inputs allowed per output. So that's the number, which is very tricky. So, and it's budgeted. So we have to go to this right column here. Okay, so we have manufactured 18,000 units. Okay, we plan to manufacture 18,000 units, and we plan to spend 9,000 machine hours. So for budget quantity, in terms of machine hours per every air conditioner, we're looking at 9,000 divided by 18,000. Okay, so we have 0.5 hours. For budget rate, we're looking at $31.50. Perfect. Okay. So now, if you want me to calculate the costs, okay, the variable manufacturing overhead costs in my flexible budget, I will have to multiply these three numbers together. So I will multiply 16,000 by 0.5 by 31.5, so I end up with 252,000. Okay, that's a flexible budget number. I'm going to keep it. So next, let's go through these numbers. Okay. So I have the actual output. Do I have the actual input? Okay, the total inputs, because if I know the actual total inputs, I can avoid the calculations of these two, because the actual total inputs is basically multiplying the actual output by the actual quantity of inputs allowed per output. So I think I do have the number, which is given. It's 7,875. Okay, perfect. And I do have the budget rate per input, which is $31.50. Okay, so therefore I can just go ahead and multiply the total actual inputs, okay, by the budget rate. So this number will tell me, okay, so what is the result of actual inputs multiplied by the budget rate, and then I can calculate the difference between these two numbers to tell me the variance here. So the variance, okay, and this time I want to be more specific. It's variable manufacturing overhead, okay, efficiency variance, okay, and this number is basically the absolute value, okay, which is the difference between these two. Okay, so I get 3,937.5. Okay, so that's the efficiency variance, and it's a favorable and unfavorable. Okay, so that's a pretty good question. So if you compare that, and it costs less than what we plan. So that means we're looking at actually a favorable, okay, a favorable variance. Okay, so now let's go back to the question here. Okay, so I think the question B is the right answer. It's a favorable. Okay, it's a favorable. Okay, so thank you for watching this short video, and I hope this review help you understand the subjects better, and hopefully you can catch up with everything and do well in your final exam. And good luck to your final exam preparation. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please come to me, and I'm always there to help you. All right, enjoy your week. Bye bye.